Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. The part one I'm not as sure about is the idea that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies were created with anarchist, libertarian, cypherpunk, or anti-centralized government ideas in mind. That being said, does it really work that way? Or did you lose that thread in some way? It's possible that Larry Fink, the manager of the BlackRock ETF, gave in to the anti-ESG forces, or Bitcoin has been taken over. Is Bitcoin slowly being taken over by the billionaires who run the current financial system, or is it losing touch with its cypherpunk and liberal roots? Today I'm going to talk about how many billionaires have erratic and contradictory views on Bitcoin. I'm doing this to try to figure out the most convincing argument against the freedom money as it gains more business support. Do you still think Bitcoin is the sneaky backdoor to a better system, or could its end be sealed by the crooked class it wants to get rid of? Over the years, billionaires have had a very interesting and sometimes hard to understand connection with Bitcoin. We have Jamie Dimon, who has made it clear that he hates digital assets. There are two different kinds of cryptocurrencies. There is a coin that might do something useful. Then there's the one that does nothing. It's what I call my pet rock, or Bitcoin. There's a reason for it. Fraud, AML, fight against tax evasion, money laundering, and sex trafficking. That's a real use case. You can see that it's being used for $50 to $100 billion a year. That's the end goal. Other than that, people train with each other. While this is going on, his company JP Chase is ready to use Bitcoin storage when the chance comes up. You should pay more attention to what they do than what they say, right? Finally, Elon Musk has been all over the place. In early 2021, he openly supported Bitcoin, putting as much as $1.5 billion worth on Tesla's books. He quickly took back his backing, though, saying that he was worried about the environment and energy use. He then sold 75% of Tesla's Bitcoin for less than it was worth, leaving the company with no cash. Larry Fink of BlackRock may have changed his mind about Bitcoin the fastest and most obviously. He went from being a loud skeptic to repeating all of Michael Saylor's lies. Let's be clear, Bitcoin can be used anywhere in the world. It changes gold in a lot of ways. You shouldn't buy gold as a hedge against inflation or your currency losing value, no matter what country you're in. Fink's BlackRock now has more than 350,000 Bitcoin in their iShares Bitcoin ETF for their clients. The strange case of Peter Thiel is another example. He has said a lot of different things about Bitcoin. Thiel used to be one of its most well-known early supporters, as this 2016 video shows. Cryptocurrencies are the other one I've been thinking about a lot more, even though I don't trust most of them. I do believe that people are perhaps too hopeful about Bitcoin. The reason being is that it's like a backup form of money. It looks like gold. It's just a way to keep money safe. Of course, you don't have to use to make payments. And, there are about $70 billion worth of Bitcoin in circulation, $9 trillion worth of gold. And if Bitcoin turns out to be the digital gold standard, it has a lot of promise. After that, in April 2021, he told China not to use Bitcoin as a tool against the US dollar. I do wonder if Bitcoin should also be seen as a part of China's financial arsenal against the US. It threatens fiat money, but most of all it threatens the US dollar, and China wants to do things to weaken it. This is China's long-term plan for Bitcoin, and the US might want to ask some tougher questions about it from a geopolitical point of view. This idea quickly fell apart when, a month later in May 2021, the Chinese government made it illegal to mine Bitcoin inside the country. Another big and fast move of Bitcoin hash rate was out of China and into other countries around the world, with most of it going to the US. The last thing Thiel said about Bitcoin was that he doesn't think it will go up much from here on out. It even said it was worried that its original focus on freedom was being lost and maybe even taken over by BlackRock. Did you sell any Bitcoin? Oh, I didn't buy enough, so I still have some. I'm not sure if it will go up that much from here. From here? Yes, I believe we have the ETF version. I don't know who else quickly buys it from this page. I was surprised by that because I don't think I heard you. I thought you were still all in. I'm still in a small role. It might be able to go up a little more, but it will be a rough ride. I also had a second reason. One was the kind of ideological, decentralized future of computing that I really believe in and think will be better. For a long time it seemed like the right way to get there, but now I'm not so sure. The BlackRock ETF's Larry Fink may have given in to the anti-ESG forces, or Bitcoin may have been taken over by them. I think it was more likely the latter. After the ETF was approved, I heard this criticism a lot. It's what I want to talk about in this movie. If Bitcoin is meant to be this free money that challenges the current financial system, then why do Bitcoin supporters want the current, corrupt financial system to hold on to it? That seems to go against the basic idea, doesn't it? At first glance, this sounds like a really interesting foot, right? This brings me to Whitney Webb's recent visit on Natalie Brunell's podcast. Many people admire Whitney Webb as an independent reporter. She has done amazing work showing how corrupt the billionaire class and the governments that keep them in power are. Take a look at what she says when asked about Bitcoin's power to make governments and billionaires more responsible. In what good ways do you think Bitcoin might hold the government more responsible or help us move to a standard that is a little more fair and based on something that no one can change or control? Or do you really worry that the people in power will make it so that privacy is almost impossible and everyone has to store their Bitcoin with these central banks so that they can keep an eye on it? For example, do you think these groups will just fight and see which one is stronger? As long as we have the numbers, right? We are the people. But really, I believe that the method they're setting up is meant to make stable coins. The US dollar and Bitcoin all work together. You can see that well-known Bitcoin banks like Zappo are advertising that they're the link between these three things. This is because Trump's speech basically explained that all three should be part of the same system. I don't think that's the answer when it comes to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is the good money, then that's what people should use to buy things from each other, and strong private tools should be built on top of it, because if the problem is being watched, then that's where it needs to be fixed. I believe that the part of the system that people would interact with would be the safe coins, and that people would only hold their Bitcoin and never use it to buy or sell things. But everyone has to agree on that. And it looks like the elite agrees. Many people in the Bitcoin space are also very involved in the election and the emotions that come with it. They want to feel supported in the business they've been in for years, which is clearly not supported by the establishment. Some people might be thinking, well, since the establishment likes this, let's support it, but is it really the best way to run things for everyone? And is it the best way to get rich and all that? To say it again, I want people to think about what? Does that mean you want Bitcoin to be used for more than just ... Well, some people are trying to make Bitcoin the norm at all costs. It doesn't matter if we completely give up on the basic idea behind Bitcoin to get there. Also, I agree that there are a lot of those people, but I don't agree with that. The idea is very important to me. I believe Bitcoin is one of a kind, and this is probably the only chance we'll get at this crucial juncture. And people have to choose whether they will use it to fight for those things or give in to the system that is being set up and will probably be forced on them through rules of the executive branch. And it's likely that whoever wins in November will be president during a time that has never been seen before. The US government debt problem is happening right now, and this is Trump's plan if he wins the election. As always, Whitney says a lot of truth. There's a lot to think about there. In fact, I really think you should watch the whole interview because Natalie does a great job making fun at Webb's position, and near the end there's a lot of juicy details about why you shouldn't trust Peter Thiel when it comes to Bitcoin. The link to the full chat is in the description. Now, let's look at Webb's opinions on this clip. To begin, as Bitcoin supporters, we can't stop Bitcoin from becoming more like